Hi guys, I am just coming to you with a quick astro update of the transits that we have going on, perfecting Tuesday, the 14th, and so you may feel this energy a day before or a day after. So, what we have is we have the Sun in Virgo, and that is opposing Neptune in Pisces. So, what that means for you is the sun provides clarity. The sun can dry up the fogginess of Neptune in Pisces. So, we're all going to be receiving some clarity about issues, some clarity about truths. The most interesting thing to me about this whole aspect coming to fruition now is that Neptune is next to the asteroid Pallas Athena, who is also in Pisces. So, if you know the story of Pallas Athena, she is just the female version of Jupiter, essentially. So she's a warrior. She's not to be sexual. Well, she can be sexual, but she's not to be sexualized. She fights for justice. She fights for righteousness, and she fights for truth. But there's a deeper story when it comes to Pallas Athena and Neptune specifically. So Neptune, also known as Poseidon, was the one that visited actually Medusa, and Pallas Athena actually beheaded Medusa because of the fact that she thought that Poseidon or Neptune was having an affair with her. Come to find out, if you actually get to the truth of the story, that Medusa was raped. So I find it so perfect that Pallas, the one that fights for righteousness, truthfulness in the story, is standing next to Neptune and adding clarity to the situation. So I really feel like this specific aspect that we're receiving clarity on is for the justice of the female energies, for the justice of, stories that were going on that were not correct. Neptune also represents the news, the media, the internet. So I really feel like we're not only in our own lives, but online and in society, we're going to be receiving some kind of truth, with the help of the sun, some kind of truth pertaining to the feminine aspect, the female warrior, the females that were done wrong in our society or perceived as wrong, or their stories were perceived as incorrect. If you want to know more about that particular story, the whole Pallas Athena, Poseidon, Medusa story, see also my video on the asteroid Algol, which is supposedly the worst asteroid in all of astrology. I actually have it on my midheaven, and of course Medusa was beheaded. I do have a fusion in my neck, so that makes sense. But also, that story has been portrayed by males incorrectly for centuries. And, it's just coming out now that actually the true story is that Medusa was a type that was, a handmaiden to a goddess, and actually was raped and did not, give herself in that way. So I find it interesting that Pallas is next to Neptune, and I really feel like there's going to be a lot of female justice coming up in society. See also Neowise, the asteroid from last year, which does represent the Neolithic or female regenerative, intuitive energies. So that's amazing. I do feel like the sun, what shines from our soul, our truth in our heart, is cutting through a lot of the confusion right now. People are going forward with their intuitive knowing, with their intuitive grace. Also, Pallas next to Neptune in Pisces, which can be a house of sadness, worry, keeping emotions in. I also do feel that Pallas and the female energies are supporting the males to actually have their emotions right now. Supporting males. Males have a hard time. They grew up in a society that they're not supposed to feel emotions. They're not supposed to express their emotions. And I know a lot of strong males that are confident in their masculinity are coming out saying, hey, you know, I do have emotions. And they're really trying to express themselves in that way right now. So I find that beautiful. Being opposed to the sun is highlighting those features in all of our lives right now. The acknowledgement that emotions are not just for the warrior women that are strong enough to express it, but also for the males. And you know, clearing the confusion about that it is, you are so much more secure in your masculinity to express your emotions, to express your sadness, to express your hurts than at any other time before. An aspect of Pallas and Neptune can also indicate someone who is able to express spiritual truths or be a teacher of spiritual truths for people. I know I have Pallas Athena conjunct my Saturn in my house of 12th house of Leo. So you could be interacting with spiritual teachers right now, or coming to some clarity through your spiritual wisdom and knowledge. Neptune on a higher vibration also indicates divine love. So with Pallas there, I think that we are all looking at a different form of love, a form of love that is not jealous or give so much Juno aspects, so much on the material realm. And I will note that this particular aspect of Pallas Athena with Neptune in Pisces is square or has a struggle with Juno. So I do feel like there's a division right now. We're receiving clarity about the division of the difference between old relationship standards, and really the standards that we're all going towards at this time, which is a more divine love, which is a higher love, which is a love that doesn't look to own, which is a love that, you know, accepts the perfect imperfections in other people and really is a space of home for them. Now Juno is sitting down at Sagittarius. Sagittarius Moon right now is going to be going through the galactic center at 24, and kind of really making a it's not quite a T-square. Well, it would be a T-square because Gemini is not exact to it. But it's also making, so the opposition between the sun, which has Hygeia there, by the way, in Virgo. So we all will be receiving with the sun some truths about our health as well. The sun is shining light in accordance, in supporting of us going towards the best health at this time. Opposite Pallas Athena and Neptune maybe indicates that you're going to be seeing clarity on where you maybe push yourself too much, maybe go out and warrior for others or other projects that aren't close to you too much. But either way, we're all going to be receiving clarity with this aspect from the sun. Confusion is going to be taken away, or we're going to be receiving some wisdom in wherever our Pisces house sits in our own personal charts. Now that may be away from something that you did in the past, some kind of relationship you had in the past with work or with actual spouses, with children, but we're all going forward in a new way, which is a more divine way, with less confusion, with confidence in our actions, for the health of us and everyone else situated in the situations. I will note that usually with the T-square, you want to go out of the other side of the chart to release that energy. If you look down in Gemini, we actually have Ceres there. So through facts, through confidence, through our own kind of communicating and learning journey, we are finding nurturing in that. Ceres is a nurturing asteroid. It's a mothering asteroid. Ceres had to go through a lot of hardships, but also she maintained her nurturing qualities through those. So I feel like this indicates this aspect, we've all been through a lot, but at this point we know our intuitive selves. We know, and even the males are grasping and really embracing the femininity inside of themselves. And I really think that's just such a profound, beautiful thing. Now, there is a grand trine that will be perfecting on Thursday in the United States this week, and I will be making another video for that. I just thought that this was such a significant story going on in the sky right now, such a significant story of clarity through intuition, strength in the power of intuition. The female aspects in male represent their intuitive aspects, and I do know so many males that are really opening up to things other than the material plane right now. People are really going towards relationships that are not like those in the past, not about possession, control, like you do this, I do that, and really going towards a more Neptune and Pallas, like a more strength in your relationship, in the fact that you make a home for each other through divine love. And I feel like through the sun, what lights up our heart, the sun that goes through any kind of confusion, is really lighting up that we have a chance to take a step forward in that aspect now, not through fear, but through trust in knowing that we can make it, knowing that we all have the power inside ourselves to know exactly what to do at any given time, and to know that, you know, we're all going to be okay. We've all built communities. We've all surrounded ourselves with people that really have our back at this time. So I really feel like this is just going to be a positive aspect for everybody. So what is going to happen in your life right now? Like, really look into the clarity that you're finding. Perhaps you're finding it from someone that speaks on spirituality. Perhaps you're finding that within yourself when you're able to clear the fog and quiet your mind. Perhaps you're going into meditation and finding that. Either way, we're all going to receive clarity where there was confusion over the next couple days. So I just wanted to highlight that this is significant in your charts. And I'm just going to go through and go through all the signs and say, you know, what this may mean for you, and something for you to look forward to, something to ponder. And I'm so excited to bring you these little updates. And I'm so happy that y'all are a part of my personal Astro family and my personal growth and my personal community. Now, if you want to tell me what you guys have found clarity on, I would super appreciate it, because the more that I get interactions from other people, as an astrologer, you are a forever student. I literally could spend my whole life studying astrology and never knowing how that manifests in everybody's charts. So if you want to say what you've received clarity on in the comments section, I would super appreciate it, because then I learn from you and I can become a better astrologer for you. Me personally, I find this significant because me and my kids decided that they are going back to public schools. Yay! So with me, that was definitely associated with the Hygeia asteroid next to the sun in my rising sign. I do have an autoimmune disorder, and I was only able to take one vaccine of the Pfizer vaccine, and I broke out in hives, and I'm not able to take the other one. But I was able to receive clarity that, you know, we do work on our health all of the time. That, you know, kind of trying to maneuver like ninth grade curriculum is going to probably be more stress for my immune system and theirs than actually sending them into school. And I have a lot of trust that in our local teachers, in our local schools, that they really have the best intentions for the kids. And, you know, whatever comes up, we're going to deal with it at that time. So that was my kind of clarity that's going on. I also received, and that was for my Virgo rising, the clarity for my Virgo rising. I also received clarity just on, from my Aries sun in my 12th house. I received clarity that, you know, I don't do the reason, and I've received this from my guides before. The reason I do astrology and I work so hard and I pay money to take all these classes and I do readings for you guys is actually, you know, not to give you each the, you know, the answers to your own lives. It's actually to spark confirmations in your lives and get you wondering about, you know, what is beyond the material plane, what and it's really a part of your journey. I'm just a tool for everyone's ascension that listens to my videos. So I know I've mentioned that before, but that was just something that's been coming in so clearly, not only through me, through other people that are getting that same message right now. So I think that's beautiful. There are other people that spark the clarity in me. So I super appreciate that, with very accurate personal messages and started me on my ascended journey. Kichi, a sacred T-square. Yeah, so, and all the astrologers that I've worked with, of course. So that is my personal reveal on what I've been clear about. So I am going to go ahead and start the horoscope wheel on what you might be getting clarity in with the Aries sun, moon, or rising. If you're watching for your sun, it will be pertaining to your specific actions in life. If you're pertaining to your moon, it will be your home environment, your emotional house, your physical environment, the stage in which you operate in. And if you're looking for your rising sign, that'll be the overall flow and most accurate placement and clarity that you're going to be receiving in your charts. All right, for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, you are going to be receiving clarity in your 12th house. Now, this could be clarity involving hidden enemies that you might have, clarity involving how you, in fact, mess yourself up with your own actions or your own confusion or not being clear on something. But with Pallas Athena there, you are going to receive clarity and you are going to be able to go forward in a just manner, in a fair manner, for the best of all in that situation. Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever. Whatever placement you want to look at Taurus from, you are going to be receiving clarity with the Sun opposed Neptune in your 11th house of friend groups. Now, this could be personal friend groups, groups you associate with, the way you communicate with your collective, or also your hopes and dreams. So you're going to be receiving clarity on how to move forward with Pallas Athena from the Sun and Hygeia in Virgo. You're going to be receiving clarity on how to best shine your light, best for the most health of you in your hopes and dreams, in your friend groups, how you interact with society. So that's a beautiful thing, Taurus. For Geminis, you are going to be receiving clarity in your house of career or house of parenting, how you parent, your overall reputation in life. You're going to be receiving clarity and be able to go forward in the most righteous way with Pallas Athena there. I will mention that Gemini has the North Node in their sign along with Ceres, so I do feel like everyone that has Gemini energies is looking to be very nurturing at this time. And I do know as well that Geminis, I do know some Geminis that are spiritual leaders with Neptune and Pallas up in the 10th house. That makes a lot of sense right now that they are being spiritual leaders. I will say that you are receiving, you're kind of going away from the old probably feeling the need to remove yourself from the old patterns of relationships right now, the old standards with Juno and the South Node in Sagittarius. But with your home sector being lit up with the sun in Hygeia, I do feel like you're making the decisions that are best for you and the health and beauty of all at this time. So amazing, Geminis. Cancers, my Cancerian, Sun, Moon, Rising. You are going to be receiving some clarity with the sun shining its light through Neptune on your 9th house. So that would be the house of education, foreign travel, foreign countries, spirituality, religion, things that you do in education to heighten yourself, to better yourself. It's called the House of God. So you could be receiving a lot of intuitive hits right now, which makes sense with with Neptune, the higher vibration of divine love there, as well as Pallas Athena, who of course fights for justice. So you'll be receiving some clarity around those particular subject. It could be also the judicial system or something to do with the judicial system if you're a Cancer sun, moon, or rising. But I do feel like it is just, it is righteous. You will receive clarity during this transit about that, and you'll be able to make it through with the sun shining down from the third house of communication to your ninth house. It means that your communication should be healthy. You'll be having healthy communications with these types of things, and that will work out for your best, most good Cancerians. I love my Cancerians. All right. I should also mention, since the sun is shining a light on that ninth house, the ninth house also has to associate with father type figures or male figures. So you may be receiving help or clarity or visiting with a male or solar type figure during this transit as well, Cancerians. So amazing. For my Leos, you all are, the light is shining right now on your second house of how you make money, what you value, could be your immediate environment, and that is shining light and through confusion to your eighth house. So eighth house is all about transformation. It could be about sexy sex times with partners. It could also be about what people owe you, what you're worth, the kind of transactional, monetary things that take place there. So Leos, you could actually be receiving clarity on a new job or something you could do that is personally inspired from your heart or your creativity, considering you rule the sun and the sun is in your second house right now. You could be receiving better job offers, receiving some clarity as to what is expected of you in that job. But with Pallas Athena, you're really going to be able to be strong and kind of shine your light through that place. You may have received some clarity about inheritances as well, Leos, with Pallas Athena there, but there also may be a solar figure helping you or a male figure, standing up for you in this time. But whatever you're doing, it is going to be healthy for you with Hygiea next to your planet of the sun. And, you'll be receiving clarity through some confusion that you've had earlier. So amazing, Leos. Oh, my Virgos, my sun, moon, and rising, of course. You have the sun in your house right now. You are all lit up. You are being very clear about your heart's intentions. With Hygiea, the asteroid there, also what is most healthy for you and your particular stability. You are seeing through the confusion as it pertains to partners, relationships, any kind of contractual relationships. And with Pallas Athena there, you are working to strive to make just situations, just adjustments in relationships, perhaps going towards relationships that have a more divine love, which is a higher aspect of Neptune. I will also note that your planet of Mercury is currently entering retrograde. But also that Mercury is currently transiting your second house of communication as it pertains to money, what you value, in Libra, which is the relationship house. It also has your asteroid of Vesta there and Mars currently. So what you guys are doing is really looking for clarity, really communicating, to go through the confusion of relationships, to really set goals right now that you'll be working on for a little while till till Mercury does get out of retrograde in November. And also Venus in your third house also just accentuates the fact that you guys are receiving clarity with the sun, with your soul purpose, but also through clear communications with the others in your life. Clear what's expected of me, what's expected of you, kind of setting up those real standards right now. I will also note that Chiron would be in your eighth house of death and renewal, so I do feel like you could be actually receiving some healing when it pertains to you know, some kind of hurts that you had when you were a child, maybe stopping patterns that you've been going towards relationships with in the past, stopping unhealthy habits of any kind at this time, Virgo. So that is amazing. My lovely Libras, we currently have the sun in your 12th house, indicating that you could be receiving a lot of insight or direction or clarity pertaining perhaps mental struggles. Hygeia is there. What gives you mental struggles? Now, I find it interesting that that opposes Neptune and Pallas in your 6th house of day-to-day activities and the traditional house of loss and illness. So I do feel like you guys are really seeing clearly what you do on a day-to-day basis that could perhaps affect your mental status. I feel like with Mars in your house, you're going to be able to, with Mars in the Libra house right now, you're going to be able to actually cut off things that are not attuned to your best mental health standards. You could also be receiving some clarity pertaining to adjustments that you have to make on your day-to-day basis, on the way that you serve yourself and serve others, that will be with Pallas Athena. They're just right for all, will really affect your hidden places, will be proactive and more safety around, you know, yourself, your mind, your spiritual oneness with God. The 12th house can also represent hidden places. So perhaps you do have male figures in your life that you're separated from right now on some level. But with Hygeia there, it does indicate that this separation that you're having right now with a male figure or father figure, sometimes kind of solar energy, is for their best in your best situation right now. And with Pallas Athena in the 6th house of work, what we do on a day-to-day basis, I do feel like there's going to be healing in that situation if that is the case for you. Perhaps there's somebody at the hospital. Perhaps there's somebody away, practicing Buddhism in an ashram. Perhaps you have somebody you know that is incarcerated or just away from the family at this time for some reason. But I do feel like it is a form of justice that they are away from you. And with Mercury in your particular sign, you are going to be communicating with them. I feel you're going to be holding space for them with Vesta in your sign as well. And with Venus in your 2nd sign, I do feel like you're concentrating on really, making your own monetary goals at this time, beautifying your immediate home environment, really upholding what you need to do, Librans, to make you comfortable, you healthy, you safe, and doing the day-by-day healthy aspects and support that is the best for you. I did note that you guys may have moved in my recent tarot reading, and I do know, hi Mama, if you watch this, a Libran that moved lately, so that's amazing. I do believe that you guys are going to be just really on a beneficial path this year. Last year was a really kind of hard for the cardinal signs, but I do feel like the cardinal signs did move towards what they need to with respect and integrity first this year. So that's amazing, Libras. That's what you have. You're receiving clarity in your day-to-day actions, how you serve people, your health, and that's really something you're working on as an internal process inside yourself. So that's beautiful. Scorpios, you are receiving clarity with the sun opposed Neptune in Pisces on subjects pertaining to children in your life, could be lovers in your life, or some kind of creative project in your life. With Venus also being in your 1st house, I feel like you're doing some deep introspective possibly work, mental work, transformative work. With Venus in your house, it would be acts of self-love. And with Mercury in the 12th house of Libra, you could be actually separated from friends or children at this time. And it looks like with Mars there, you're really going towards, your ultimate goal is towards that. But with Vesta there, this space is a time for a really transformative process and seeing the clarity of your fifth house relationships with lovers, with children, with creative projects. With Pallas Athena there, you're going to be able to see clearly and know what to do in the highest good for all involved in these situations. And with Neptune there, which can also be a form of not only confusion sometimes, but divine love as well. I really feel like the transformative process that you're doing in yourself right now, the transformative process that you're doing in your mental arenas, with Mercury in your 12th house and Mars in your 12th house, is really going to make these creative projects, these relationships with children, relationships with lovers, just really, really just more streamlined at this time. Now, I will note that the Sun in Hygeia is in your 11th house, in Virgo, of groups you belong to, your hopes and dreams. So I really feel like you guys are launching new things in your hopes and dreams. The sun illuminating that place indicates that you're finding friend groups that are most healthy for you, finding situations that are most healthy for you, and that friend groups and hopes and dreams opposing your fifth house is maybe you are changing up love situations at this time, changing up your situations that you do have with children or with forms of creativity or things that you aspire to bring into the world. So I really feel like you guys are going to, really come out of this. Whatever's going on with you guys at this time, there could be some mental turmoil with Mars in the 12th house, but I can only say that, from all the aspects, you guys are going to be coming out of this just healed, a new person, going towards forward in a positive way, and with Mars going into your first house soon as well. But by the beginning of November, when Mercury gets out of retrograde and you go through that kind of internal processing that Mercury has, it's like kind of re-looking at things, rewriting situations, reviewing things in your life. It is the appropriate time to be doing this with Mercury in your 12th house. If you are separated from children and friends, just let me say that those are not speaking to Mars types energies right now. Anyone who is indicated by Mars in your 12th house almost conjunct the sun, so it could be solar figures as well. I do feel like you will be returning to them when Mercury gets out of retrograde, which will be around the beginning of November. So that's amazing. With the sun in your 12th house as well, you may be learning from solar type figures. You may be learning from people in your friend groups that are wise or is somehow teaching you how to live a healthier lifestyle right now. So that's amazing, Scorpio. I just have to say, Scorpios are fun. I saw one of my little Scorp friends this weekend, and Scorpios are so deep and they're so they like to review situations before they go after it, which if they're a Scorpio sun and then you have an Aries sun, you are joined by Mars. I have an Aries sun, but we just look at the Scorpios, it's just like an exciting energy, and we don't take them like as foreboding or like how some other people see the sign of Scorpio. It's just like, come on, Scorpio, let's go. Like, just stop being so serious. So that's fun. Okay, Scorpios, that is an amazing transit, it looks like here. Oh, and I should note that you have Juno in your second house, so you could be also being really introspective about the ways you make money. Also, your the relationships you used to have with money, the old ways you used to relate to money, how you used to make money. It is on the South Node, so I do feel like you'll be changing that in some aspect, maybe with creative projects. and with Pluto in your third house, you're transforming the way that the structures of communication in your life, the structures of how you communicate. It looks like to be able to express yourself in a more true, loving aspect, something that supports you and supports you first, with Venus in your first house. So amazing, Scorpios. I should also mention for the Scorpios that with Pallas Athena in your fifth house and with Mercury in your 12th house, you are also getting to a point where you're able to express yourself. With Venus in your first house, more true to yourself. You're going to be able to come out of this with expressing feelings that perhaps you're keeping to yourself, expressing words that you're perhaps keeping to yourself after this transformative time. I know that sometimes it's hard for Scorpios to express their feelings, but I feel like you guys are connecting with a more divine form of love, a more just form of love, a form of love that is more healthy for you with Hygeia on the sun, and perhaps something in your friend groups or your hopes and dreams, or an expert in a field helping you to see how perhaps you've had confusion or actually, didn't do what was best for yourself in these relationships in the past. You're really going to be able to come forward with a whole new aspect on life, with a whole new truth that will allow you to have better communication and relationships. Sagittarius, you currently have the sun in your 10th house with Hygeia there. So I do feel like you guys are receiving, really focusing on your future career goals that are most healthy for you. With Hygeia there, you are going to pick the healthiest thing. Perhaps you are looking at the way that you parent, or looking at some kind of solar figure in your life, going to an expert to receive guidance on that, or perhaps you guys were promoted. So that's amazing. You do have the sun shining clarity on your fourth house of home. So in the fourth house of home, we have Neptune with Pallas Athena. Perhaps your home life was surrounded by, with Neptune, some kind of, numbing agent, like drinking or drug use. With Pallas Athena there, you're really going to be able to see, and the sun shining a light on that, you're really going to be able to see some clarity, if this was your past childhood home, on how that affected you and how to go forward in a stronger way in your own parental relationships. Also, with the sun shining light on your fourth realm of house and home, you may be receiving some news about your parents' health, or news about a mother figure's or a parental figure's health. But I will tell you with Pallas Athena there that is going to be advantageous that you find out now. It is going to strengthen the relationship with the sun and Hygeia. I can just assure you it is going to turn out fine. Sagittarius, you also have Juno in your personal house with the South Node, and I believe it's Astria. So it does indicate that you've had some problems changing your relationship to yourself. But with Venus currently in your 12th house of Scorpio, you are going to be, renewing the self-love that you have for yourself, renewing the confidence that you have in yourself. So that's amazing. That probably has a lot to do with going forward in your 10th house of career or parenting, getting your focus shined there right now. In your 11th house right now, we have Mars and Mercury and Vesta, indicating that friend groups right now, you're really going towards enlarging your social circles, your hopes and dreams. You're speaking to possibly people about this, speaking to new groups or communities that you belong to. And with Vesta there, that is really going to really just hold your soul for a period of time, and that's really amazing. In your 7th house, we do have the North Node in Ceres, indicating that the more you can learn about situations is really going to mother you, nurture you, You're learning new things right now, Sagittarius, and that is really for your best good. We have Pluto in your second house of how you make money, the immediate structures in your life. So perhaps you are moving or have moved, and it does look like that will be of the most benefit for you. Yeah, but you're just really having a real transformation in your career home sector. What you're being asked to do right now with the sun shining on Neptune is looking at the places in your home and career and to find balance in that, and you will with Hygeia and Pallas Athena. So that is amazing, Sagittariuses. I'm so happy to hear that because you did have a kind of rough beginning of the year. Little bit hard, but we do have Uranus and Taurus in an excellent trine this week in your day-to-day activities as well. So you are going to be just changing your day-to-day activities, going towards really the parental type and the career type that is just best for you, and that is really going to create divine love. To heal those wounds from your childhood with Pallas Athena, overcoming those struggles, seeing the clarity in it, kind of being a warrior for the home and for family and for home life. And, you could be dealing with you could be receiving some help in your career from a solar figure, either a dad or a brother or some kind of expert in the field, but, accept that help. It is really going to be advantageous for you. You could be receiving communication actually from a Jupiterian type figure in your third house of communication. This would be somebody from your community, somebody from your friend groups in Aquarius, could be other people's children. Or you could be creating a structure for other people's children at this time. So, all right, Saggies, that sounds great. I should also mention with Venus in Scorpio in your 12th house, you could be actually looking into different religions or different connections with God at this time and just really, you may be receiving information from an outside group or an outside source, which is kind of spurring your interest in that thing. And I can just tell you with Taurus and Uranus opposite your 12th house right now in your day-to-day activities, the ways that you serve, this looks like it will be really, you may suddenly change religions or suddenly find a deeper level of spirituality. So it looks like that will be amazing for you as well, Sagittarius. Just a quick note to the Sagittarius is about that 12th house spirituality with Venus opposed Taurus. Taurus is what we consume on a day-to-day level. So if you don't want to align yourself with stress and you don't want to align yourself with like conspiracies or some kind of thing like that, make sure that you are listening to things that uplift you at this time, that really nurture your soul as opposed to cause fear in your situation. 6th house can be the house of loss. So just with that Taurus involved in a grand trine the end of this week, just really concentrate on, listening, consuming with media and everything, things that really uplift you at this time and not things that bring you into a state of fear. With Venus in the 12th house, you could also have a secret lovey love, Saggies. But most Saggies I know like to express, bring their lovers out into public, so that's cute. And if that is the case, I have confidence that you're going to be able to speak that love or bring that love out into the public as Venus moves into Sagittarius in your first house. Capricorns. The sun is clearing up any confusion around your third house of Pisces. So with the sun shining from the 9th house to the 3rd house, you could be receiving some clarity in an educational situation, in a judicial situation, in a spiritual or religious situation. With Hygeia there, with the sun, I do feel like it is a healthy situation that you are receiving clarity about. It could be literally communication from these places, literally communication from the education system, from the judicial system, from foreign religions or long distance travel. You could be able to see some kind of solar figure in this area or some kind of expert assisting you in seeing clarity in the ways that you communicate, the people you're communicating with, your immediate neighborhood or environment. It could also be that you're receiving some kind of clarity with siblings or with relationships with people that are not your mom or dad, such as cousins, aunts and uncles. Just receiving clarity. Being in the house of Pisces, it could be that from the house of Virgo, it could be that you're receiving news about some kind of healing as it pertains to these people in your life. With Pallas Athena there, I can tell you that you're going to be able to deal with this situation in a just manner, in what is for the highest good. With Neptune there, you may be actually receiving coming into a deeper kind of love with these kind of relationships. Relationships to short distance travel, relationships to, the third house usually represents Gemini, so it could be siblings or even children you're separated from if there's Neptune there. You could be receiving some kind of cute communication on the ways that we numb ourselves or the ways that we create our own losses. But right now you have had, of course, Pluto in your first house for quite some time. So you've been overgoing transformation on your own level. You do have Juno in your 12th house. So you could be separated from certain relationships at this time. But Juno is also representing the kind of old structure of relationships. The relationships that have like possession, give and take, kind of the material realm relationships. So with you also have asterisk there, I believe it is. So you're probably having a hard time if you're seeing yourself as, if you're looking at certain relationships in your life, it is the South Node, as being unhealthy for you. It looks like you are having a hard time, maybe releasing certain relationships in your life. But that is that asterisk that indicates that we're holding on to things too long, is actually on the, it is coordinating with the particular degree of Pluto in your first house. So I do think you'll be able to see what is best for you with clarity coming up. You have Saturn and Jupiter in your second house, so you could be creating new structures in your life right now that are going towards making money in new ways, serving other people in new ways, serving yourself. And with Venus in your 11th house, I do feel like you're getting involved or looking at the groups that you're involved in, the situations you're involved in, your hopes and dreams for the future, which does coordinate with Jupiter and Saturn, a long-term structure that you're bringing into your future here. Let me see what else we have for you, Cappies. We have Chiron in the 4th house right now, so you could be looking at past home situations that have hurt you, past childhood situations that have hurt you in the home, which in the house of Aries, it would indicate that you're going towards things quickly, but you're just repeating patterns from possibly situations that have happened to you or situations you've seen play out in your home life. You do have Uranus and Taurus in your 5th house, indicating that you might have sudden changes in, relationships that you creative relationships. You could have sudden creative projects, sudden children, sudden new lovers appear in your life. So that's amazing. And with the North Node, in Gemini in your 6th house of day-to-day practices, day-to-day experience and series there, I really feel like you guys are going to be going towards nurturing people. Perhaps you're finding a new job in caretaking or perhaps nursing or some kind of healing modality that you will be speaking about or learning about. Perhaps you guys are upgrading your jobs, but I do feel like this is going to be a way that you can serve the world in a more nurturing manner. So Your ninth house does have the sun there, so you could literally be starting a new creative process, a new educational field, or upgrading your career, and that with Hygeia there will be very nurturing as well. It looks like you're going towards new relationships. Speaking about relationships, really seeing the clarity in relationships right now, friend groups you belong to, things that are most healthy for you. So that is amazing, Capricorns. That sounds great. Aquarius, you are receiving clarity in your second house of how you make money, what you value, what you love, what you're willing to sacrifice for what you love. And with Pallas Athena there, I do feel like you're going to go towards this in a judicial way, in a way that is best for all involved. The sun is shining light from your 8th house of transformation onto that second house. So I feel like somehow you've transformed recently. Everything about you, like your heart's purpose, your soul's purpose. Like with Hygeia there, I do feel like you've had some kind of transformation in what's healthiest for you, what assists you to shine your light the most, and you are going forward, perhaps in a new job, perhaps in a new immediate setting in that way. You also have, looks like Mars, Mercury, and Vesta in your 9th house. So you could be actually receiving, you could be looking into different religions, more education styles, different kinds of leaders, or becoming a teacher yourself in some field. With Vesta there, it's really holding space for other people. You could actually be teaching children, or really finding a way that lights up your soul, and it puts you closer to the children in your life or friends. But with Mars there in the house of Libra, your communication will be dedicated towards, amending situations and amending groups. You could also have a solar figure, or receive a inheritance from a solar figure, or some kind of payout from insurance, possibly with Hygeia there for a kind of medical type settlement. But it does look like, you've been confused about that in the past with the second house. But with Pallas Athena there, it looks like you're receiving some sort of justice, perhaps communication from the justice systems or the court systems pertaining to that. You do have Venus in your 11th house of friend groups and hopes and dreams. So I do really feel like whatever happens here, whatever is brought to light with your second house in your money situations, will be for the best good, and help you to achieve and be more confident in those hopes and dreams coming up. Let me see, anything else for you? I'm sorry, Venus is in your 10th house of career. So yes, you are probably changing or somehow receiving funds to further your career at some point. And in your 11th house is actually the South Node, Juno, and Astrea. So let's talk about that. So Aquarius is, you literally might be looking at how some of your relationships with friend groups have not benefited you, have been things that kind of didn't serve your best purpose in the past, kind of changing the relationship you have with friend groups. With Astrea there, you're going to have a hard time, actually. I feel like you've had a hard time in the past kind of separating yourself from different friend groups or finding more healthy friend groups. But you do have Pluto in your 12th house, which could be internal processing, could be structures changing and transforming around your mental clarity, your mental health. You could literally be having spiritual awakenings, or finding yourself in places of, hidden places, such as practicing as a Buddhist in an ashram, or maybe visiting people in hospitals, or jails, or just your own mind and your own divine connection to spirit at this time. So I really feel like you are going to be able to make the changes that are best for you, the changes that will bring you ahead in your particular field. It looks like a beautiful time to be an Aquarius, even though you have Saturn and Jupiter in your first house. Saturn indicates something you work at, step by step, day to day, to indicate changes. And Jupiter there, that's a God planet. So it indicates that you are looking to expand yourself in a healthy way, in a more divine way, and that you are going to be able to serve others with whatever you're going towards as well. So that's amazing, Aquarius. Pisces, you are receiving clarity actually around yourself, perhaps your body, perhaps where you fit in the world, where you fit, where you're going towards in the world. Was Pallas Athena there? You are going to have some kind of enlightenment on what to do, which is best for you. You have the sun in your seventh house, so I do feel like you're receiving just beautiful highlighting from the relationships that are starting in your life. With Hygeia there, these are going to be beautiful, healthy relationships that you're creating. Perhaps receiving wisdom from a wise person or a solar figure in your life, but that's really going to clear any clarity. People in your life are just going to get you. And sometimes it's very hard to get a Pisces. I have a Pisces child. I will note that your third house of communication as well is having a grand Earth trine this week with Uranus in Taurus. So I do feel like this time of clarity on who you are, kind of standing up for the divine aspects of yourself, is going to allow you to speak more freely. With Chiron and Aries in your second house, which usually represents Taurus, I feel like you perhaps have been not able to speak in the past, and that could be a wound from childhood, but you are going to receive some healing in that aspect and be able to speak your true emotions more. Neptune in Pisces is in its placement, so you guys are all about divine love. You guys are all about being connected on just like internal level to the divinity and all-encompassing unconditional love that you have. And I do really feel like you're going to be able to be seen for that, or somehow bring that out into the world. You've had Saturn in your 12th house for a while, so I really feel like you have not been able to, you've had some separation in that 12th house, but with Jupiter there, I really feel like you're going to be able to connect with kind of the 12th house aspects on receive some loosening in there. I know I have my Pisces child has been homeschooled for a while, so that has been like separation, in a hitaway place for her. But they're all returning to school, so that's amazing. Aquarius in your 12th house, it does indicate the collective. So I feel like a lot of you Pisces are kind of coming out of your little foggy Neptune hole and really revealing yourself to the collective in a way, with Jupiter also your planet in the 12th house, in a way that's just going to be you're going to be able to give insight to other people, be able to give like knowledge to other people that some people won't be able to see clearly. You have Pluto in your 11th house of friend groups, so you are having a transformation of your friend groups at this time. It is a positive transformation. You're coming out of your shell, Pisces, and that's amazing. You have the North Node in your house of home with Ceres there, so I really feel like you guys are either being a nurturing figure in your home life, being a mothering figure, or really finding a mothering figure in your home life right now. Someone that's probably speaking to you, considering it's a Gemini house, someone that's giving you words, or you're giving words to them to really nurture those relationships. Let me see what else we got. We have Mars, Mercury, and Vesta in your 8th house of transformation. So yeah, I really feel like you guys are going towards transforming, coming out of your shell more, in the house of Libra, speaking in your relationships more, knowing that will hold space and grow relationships. You could have a little trouble at first with Mars there, but it looks like you are going to be just really coming into a comfort zone. We have Venus up in your 9th house, so you guys could be going towards, looking towards foreign religions, or becoming interested in gaining fruitfulness and love for yourself through places of education, places of higher knowledge, places from people of wisdom. That's also considered God's house. So I really feel like, you know, you guys are going towards what is best for you at this time, kind of out of the Pisces haze that was the beginning of this year. And with Jupiter coming back into your first house in December, we're all looking forward for that, Pisces. You are really receiving kind of the clarity. People are being able to be clear about you, clear about your gifts, clear about your divine wisdom and knowledge, and your unconditional love that you're able to give to people at this time. We have your 10th house in Sagittarius, which does contain Juno, Astria. So you are changing something about, something is changing in regards to old relationships with parenthood, or how you parent, or how you see yourself in the world. That could have been a struggle for you, but it is coming with all the other aspects coming into you guys right now. Pisces, it looks like you are going to be able to pull through that. You're going to be able to gain confidence in yourself and your overall reputation. The hard part of 2021 is loosening up a little bit. We just have these adjustments coming in. For Pisces specifically, you guys are going to receive some clarity and healing, and just really be able to nurture your relationships with yourself and with other people. With the Sun and Hygeia in your 7th house, your relationships are going to be able to come stronger. You're going to be able to repair any kind of relationship struggles that you've had in the past with solar type figures, or maybe authority figures that you've had. And that is just going to be with Pallas Athena in your 1st house. Really, it's going to come out just for you, as well as really healing for the other people in your life. So Pisces, that's beautiful. With Pallas Athena in your 1st house, as well as Venus in the 9th house in Scorpio, I do feel like you'll be having some transformative transformations go on that will benefit everyone involved with Venus there. If you are going towards a new religious practices or new religions, or being attracted to spiritual growth, or transforming your relationship with the justice system, or with higher education in your life, or education, or authority figures, that is going to be for the best for you. So Pisces, it looks great. I'm so excited. All right, guys, that is all of the 12 signs, the overview of the horoscopes for the coming week. We do have a grand trine coming up on Thursday, so I will put something in about that. But it is all the clarity. We're receiving clarity right now. We're receiving answers right now, finally, and I think that's the least we can ask for, considering it has been so confusing, and of course it's in Mercury retrograde, so I'm having like words mess up and some of my tech mess up because I'm ruled by Mercury. So going forward, the advice I can tell you is to go forward with your heart. You will know exactly what to do. It will not come from outside sources, most likely, such as things that invoke fear in you, or cause chaos or distraction in your life. And I think everyone's going to be able to see those truths this week. So I'm super excited for you all. If anyone listens to this till the end of the video, you could put the timestamps in for me. I don't have that time for that right now, but I would love it if you did that for me. So thank you all for being my little community crew, and I love you, and it is going